This video is talking about 4 things you have to know before making a move to Real Broker. Now there's a lot of names for this brokerage. A lot of people call it Real Broker or even just Real, but the official name is The Real Brokerage. So we're going to be talking about 4 things you need to know before moving your license over to this company. I have been with Real Broker for the last 3 years since they opened up. I moved over on day 1 of them opening here in Utah, and it's now coming up on 3 years having been with this company. So I've kind of seen how they've evolved and grown over this time. When I joined, in fact, they had right around 4,000 agents, and now today they're pushing 22, maybe even 23,000 agents as we speak just a couple years later. And I think honestly, we're going to go to 30, 40, 50,000 agents in the next 2 to 3 years. So we're going to continue to see a ton of growth. But again, we're going to talk about 4 things you have to know before moving your license over. If after watching this video, you still decide you want to move your license over, give me a call. My information will be here on the screen. I'd love to talk to you about Real Broker. I'll give you an honest assessment about whether or not it's right for you based on your situation. I would love to see you come over to this amazing brokerage, but in some cases it may not be a fit. So let's talk about number 1 on our list here. The first thing you have to know is that it's an online brokerage. If you're a brand new agent, this might be an adjustment for you in some respects. Maybe you're used to kind of the online environment, depending on maybe your past jobs or your past schooling that you've had. But the thing that you have to realize is that being in an online brokerage is way different than going somewhere that's in person. A lot of the traditional brokerages used to have big, full fancy offices with admin staff and the executives running around and tons of agents. And that still occurs, but Real Brokerage is not that, right? Everything that happens within the company is online. There's obviously no office for the company. And so training and a lot of these in-person events happen online and a little bit differently than you'd probably expect. Now, this can be great for workers who have their own motivation level. Maybe you don't need the atmosphere of an office to have success with your own business, but it can get a little bit lonely. You don't have that drive, you don't have that vibe of going to an office where everybody else is doing the same grind that you are. So just be aware of that. It can be a little bit lonely, but if you're a self-motivated person who can work without that type of environment, then it could be a great option for you. The second thing I want to talk about here is going to be revenue share. Now, if you've done some research on Real Broker, you'll know that they have a revenue share plan. This is no secret. And in fact, it's a large draw for a lot of people that come over to the company. Now, the reality here is that most people, frankly, are not going to capitalize on the benefits of rev share. Now, I think there's some good things about this, and I think there's some bad things about this. I think one of the bad things is that a lot of people get sold this vision of, look, here's how much money you can make with revenue share. If you just attract this many agents and those guys attract this many, you can make so much money. And yes, while that is true, it's really only applicable for about 1, 2, 3% of the agents who hang their license here. Most people are probably only going to bring over 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 agents, and most of them are going to bring over 0. So there's a large part of the people who come over to the company expecting to capitalize on the revenue share, but it just doesn't happen. Now, for the individual agent, maybe this is something that is not a deterrent for you. Maybe you're not really looking to attract people. Great, don't participate in the program. You don't have to. If you are looking to attract, you can absolutely go down that route and attract a lot of agents to the company. Now, in this scenario, I do actually think that there's some benefits to this for the company itself. Because a lot of agents are not going to take part in the revenue sharing program, there's going to be a large portion of the money that gets paid into the brokerage that goes straight to the broker's bottom line. If the brokerage is not sharing that revenue with another agent, basically they're collecting that whole amount, pocketing it, paying their expenses, and bringing those numbers down to the bottom line. So ultimately, I think this provides health to the company, which then provides a better stock return, which is one of my favorite things about the company. I've actually earned over 6 figures of stock in the last couple of years from RSUs that the company has granted me just for doing my business. So those numbers, that share price is going to continue to strengthen based on the income that the company is receiving. So again, just something to know. A lot of agents get sold on the idea of revenue share, but the reality is that most agents are not going to take advantage of it to the fullest extent. Now, the third thing on our list that we have to talk about here, this is something I see a lot of agents fall into, especially ones who have been maybe only at 1 or 2 brokerages or who are newer in their career. The thing is, Real Broker is not going to make your business double or triple. It's just not going to happen. Now, the reality is I've been at 6 different brokerages throughout the last 10 years of my career. I've moved ship a lot of times, and in fact, that was actually a great decision each time I did it. But the reality is I didn't see an increase in my business just because of where my license was at. I had to continue to build my skills, put myself out there, continue working on my business in order to see it grow. The Real Broker is going to be no different. Whether you move your license here or to another company entirely, yes, you may get a little bit better training. You may have a little bit better environment or something like that, but you're still going to have to put in the work to grow your own business, build your skills, keep networking, and to do more real estate deals. That's the reality of it. This company is not going to be the direct benefactor to you doubling or tripling your business. You can do that here, or you could realistically do it at another company as well. I see a lot of agents, especially newer ones, fall into this trap thinking that the grass is always greener, and perhaps it is from an economical standpoint, but from a pure business standpoint of, oh, if I move over here, I'll do more deals just because it's a better place, not going to happen. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about here is that, to be honest, guys, the Real Broker, it's not going to be for everybody. For me, I personally absolutely love this company and have no intention of going anywhere. I plan to be here for, I don't know, maybe the rest of my career. Unless a really good other opportunity comes up, I'm going to stick around because the opportunity we've got here is absolutely amazing. But I'm also not blind to the fact that this is not going to be the company for everybody, right? There's people who go to traditional brokerages like Coldwell Banker or Remax or Century 21 or Keller Williams, and they absolutely crush it, right? Those guys are still doing very, very well. You've also got other online brokers such as Fathom, or you've got EXP, which also do great, and those have their own culture, their own vibe, their own pros and cons to those companies. So the reality is that no matter how much I like Real Broker, it's not going to be a fit for everybody, right? And I absolutely realize that. You may come over, have your business here for a couple of months, and then realize, hey, this isn't really what I want. I don't like the online aspect, or I don't like this particular team, or I don't like my broker. Whatever the reason is, those things might pop up and actually turn into a situation where, look, this might not be the best fit for you. So with that said, I think our leadership here is great. I think we've got a ton of great people. I really believe in the direction that the company is going and think it's going to be one of the biggest brokerages in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years. I think it's going to grow astronomically, and I'm here to be a part of that. If you want to be a part of that as well, please reach out to me, call, text, or email me anytime. I'd love to talk to you totally anonymously about Real Broker and discuss whether or not it's a great fit for you just based on your situation and based on what Real has to offer. I'd love to chat with you. Thanks for watching.